Yiboyelahu pacha or Thursday's Gemara. Yiboyelahu. I have a question. Pachas mishtus. In the Mishnah we have a cap. Shtus you have until you go and meet a relative. What about less than shtus? We say that you're meichel. Is that immediate? That everyone knows you have to expect a profit, so it's immediate, or there's a time limit as well. Pachas mishtus l'rabbanan la'alta have a mechila. Is the mechila straight away immediate? And if I 5 minutes later I change my mind, too late, no cooling off period. Or time that you can see a relative or a kreba, even for less than a shtus. And after that point, then we say meichel. But till then, you can say, look, give me my money back. And the obvious question is, if by less than the shtus you can until you see a relative, then what's the difference between shtus and less than the shtus? Both of them until that time, you can say, I'm not interested, give me my money back. Cool enough period. The moment you had enough time to see a relative, we say that's it. Fine, you're meichel, even if it's a shtus. So what's the difference between shtus and less than shtus? The Gemara says, you can ask me, both of them have the same time limit, a time limit, and after that you're meichel. Then you can make shtus and what's the whole difference? In both of them, before that time period, you can walk away, and at the time period, you're meichel. So why?
It's an even playing field.
So the way we understood right now is the difference between less than the shtus is the time limit. Less than the shtus, you're right away meichel because you expect that guy to make some profit, and shtus, you're not meichel till another hour or two. That's the only difference. So that's not true. There's a bigger difference. The ilu shtus yode alo yoiner. When it comes to exactly shtus, the buyer has a choice. He can say, dissolve the whole sale, or give me back the money you cheated me. And you get back to cheat. I'll keep the item, but give me back my money that you overcharged. The pachas mishtus, less than shtus, you don't have that option. Less than shtus, maybe you have a time cap, but kana the deal is the deal. You can't walk away from the deal. Less than the shtus, you can't work in a deal. But all you can claim is the overcharge. All I can claim is the overcharge, but I cannot dissolve the thing. That's a difference. But maybe the time cap is exactly the same. That's the first question. Now everything's going to revolve around what happened to Rab Tarfon. The merchants first were happy to Rab Tarfon, and then they were unhappy. First, it's obvious. Rab Tarfon was so kind to them. He said that less than a shtus is up to a third. That's number one. So that was he's letting them have a margin much higher, so they're very happy. And then, but he ruined everything when he said, "But you have 24 hours to make up your mind, rather than just an hour or two." So what happened?
Is more than a third of profit.
What do you mean? Net profit?
No, because if it's the value of the mekach, there's already a profit.
That's what net profit, not gross.
If something's worth $100, or because everyone's selling it for $100, that's because there's already a profit in that $100. So you're charging now above that.
Yeah, but somebody else had that profit, not me. I bought it from somebody for 100, and I'm charging them for 110.
That's from that number. Then
so somebody along the line, a farmer maybe, somebody along the line might have made a profit, and somebody was meichel, and I'm the next person. But now I paid $100 for it. I'm not allowed to charge more than a shtus, or have to take more costs.
But if the going price is $100, it already includes profit in there. Hopefully.
No, I'm just saying.
People are selling it for that.
Because people are meichel. You're allowed to be meichel less than a shtus. We'll soon see if you're meichel straight away. Now we'll soon see the man. Toshma, come in here, let's decide. They changed their mind. They said, you know what, we like the chum better. So what's going on here? So they thought first of all, we think right now that the Tarfon, the only difference of Tarfon is everyone agrees Pachad Mishtus didn't sow, Shtus didn't sow, and Bittul Nek didn't sow. But the Tarfon thought, we just thought that Tarfon holds Pachad Mishtus goes much higher, goes up to a third. So we thought Pachad Mishlish Tarfon is Kepachad Mishtus Tarban. The terms are the same. The question is, what are the parameters, the criteria of each term? So, if you tell me that Pachas Mishtus Rabbanan B'Deshi L'Tage, the Rabbanan said that Pachas Mishtus also we give you a little cooling off period, like the Kriveh. Rab Tarfon came along and said, "Hey, Kol Hayim, that's why they were unhappy. First, before they heard Kol Hayim, they thought, wow, Rab Tarfon is giving us so much more margin. But then when they heard Rab Tarfon's cooling off period for Pachas Mishtus is a full 24 hours, and the Chachamim is only an hour or two. And even though Rab Tarfon is giving us a little bit more benefit because Pachas Mishtus goes much higher, it makes up. We lose out with him much more than we gain. But if you say Pachas Mishtus is Mechila straight away, right? Is Mechila straight away, then Rab Tarfon therefore up to a third is Mechila straight away. So what are they worried about? So when does Rab Tarfon kick in? A day, only from how greedy can you be? Already, a 33% profit is unbelievable. So how greedy can you be that they weren't happy? Amai Chazur Rav Tarfon. Why would they change their minds when Rav Tarfon? Why this upset Rav Tarfon? His kick didn't kick in. It must be the only way we can understand Pshat is if we learn that the Mechila Pachmishtus, the Chacham give you an hour or two. So also give you a little cooling off period. So way up, the risk versus this. But if it's altered, nothing to talk about. Of course, they'd be happy to Tarfon. He entitles you to 33% margin immediately, and they'll make sure they don't go higher than that. Don't be so greedy. The Rabbanon say that a sixth is Aina already, and so on, but the Tarfon says it's immediate Mechila. So why would that happen to Tarfon? More answers. Me Savra, who told you made it? The whole basis is wrong. Who told you Pachas Meshlis Tarfon ke Pachas Rabbanon? Who told you that a less than a third of Tarfon is the same thing as less than Rabbanon? Law, you miss the third of Tarfon altogether. Rav Tarfon agrees with the Chachamim that less than a sixth is less than a sixth, 100%, and maybe Mechil Alter. But Rav Tarfon says you say a shtus is exactly a sixth. Chachamim shtus is very narrow, exactly a sixth. I say shtus starts from a sixth, goes to a third. So the profit between a sixth and a third is not like you thought initially is considered pachas mishtus. That is shtus, and by shtus is that is in the driver's seat. The buyer in the driver's seat, and he can do whatever he wants. And when Rav Tarfon says now he has a whole day, Rav Tarfon is no good. Rav Tarfon now, basically whatever the Chachamim say, he's talking about the same thing that the Chachamim are talking about, and the Chachamim say you only have an hour to change your mind, and he's saying you have a whole day. So of course Rav Tarfon is worse. Same thing. So why would it happen in the first place? Why were they happy? So why were they so pleased when the Tarfon said you have a? He didn't say like what we thought initially up to third. It's pachas shtus. You're saying up to third is shtus. Okay, he said up to shtus a third. The Chachamim say that more than a shtus is bittul mekach. So what were they so happy about the Tarfon? Remember, bittul mekach either don't you change your mind, and the shtus is that the buyers in the driver's seat. So the in a way, the Tarfon is much worse. Why were they happy initially? Sorry, in a minute. Unless we learn that bittul mekach. Okay, we said that it expires after you go to your relatives. What about more than a shtus? Bittul mekach doesn't say in the Mishnah what it is. Does it have the same time cap? The same cap as what? When you see a relative, or that is la'olam forever. If it's more than a sixth, if the meicher one day wakes up and says, or the buyer, I was cheated, or there's no time limit at all. You must say there was no time limit. That's why initially they were happy to have Tarfon because there's one little window with Rabbanan better off than Tarfon, right? Shtus Rabbanan say you only have a time limit of your relative, and Tarfon says that no, you have a whole day. But more than a sixth, the Chachamim say forever you can change your mind. The Tarfon puts a limit of a day, so then it makes sense. The Mai Samchum Mikara. The only way to understand it is the bittul mekach rabban la'olam chayzen. That bittul mekach rabban you can always change your mind. The kivin omer Rav Tarfon have the yonah, and when Rav Tarfon said no, that's not called bittul mekach. But rabban is called bittul mekach. I call yonah. Up to a third is still called yonah. If so, some chubei they were happy at least 24 hour limit. But ki amlu kol hayom chazru, but they said 24 hours. So at first they were happy. They didn't know about 24 hours. They said, it's yonah. You only have till the cousins come till you see a relative. Machai, of course, Rav Tarfon is better. But when he told them all day, they were not so happy. Why not? They changed when he said kol hayom, they changed their mind. Why? Because they feel that most people, if 24 hours went by and you didn't change your mind, you're not going to change your mind in 6 months either. An hour is not enough time to process it. But if you process it 24 hours, then what's the likelihood? That's why people give 2, 3 year, 4 year guarantee. They know you're going to lose a receipt anyway after a certain amount of time. They don't care. Give you a 10 year guarantee. So the same thing here. Once a day goes by, we don't think the cooling off period is long enough. So it's just the benefit is not that strong anymore. So on the other hand, the loss that you give us a whole day versus by shtus, we're on the Isaac that the bittul mekach rabbanon, but they should tag the crazy. Can you tell me that the rabbanon is saying that bittul mekach that limited only to the relative, but my samchu. So what were they so happy about? What were they so happy about with Rav Tarfon then? What was happy about Tarfon? If the rabbanon even bittul mekach is limited to an hour, And Abtarfin said that shtus till third is a whole day. Why? What were they happy to Abtarfin? So Gemara said one more change, at least in this version. When Abtarfin says that I hold till a third is considered a Aina, is only if it's above a sixth. So he's the second argument. You hold if it's exactly a sixth. You, Rabbon, hold exactly a sixth is Aina. I hold more than a sixth is Aina. What's exactly a sixth? Immediate Mechila. So that little bit of a sixth, immediate Mechila, to them, they thought was great. But when he came along and said, but the rest of the time is 24 hours, then they were not happy anymore. Some sixth itself. Because it's like less. Well, the Rabbanan, I know that little window, because as Ashi says, most people, in fact, if you look at all these corporations, the net profits is very low. It's very low. And having a 15, and it seems that in those days, having a shtus was a common thing. So, or less. Above shtus was very uncommon. I mean, people were not that naive that they paid such high prices because you got other people selling it, so you realized it. So shtus was common, pretty common, and therefore they were happy with Rab Tarfon because his shtus was like less than the shtus. But when it came to above, but more than shtus is now 24 hours, they still do make profits more than shtus. Then they waited up for that narrow window of a shtus where we have a benefit of Tarfon versus the bigger window. Exactly, the bigger window of that Yisrael shtus, he has 24 hours to cool off. Nah, not worth it. Okay, but then Morgan changed his mind about the shtus. Another question is Bitul Mekah. Now that you raise the question, Bitul Mekah Rabbanon. When we say that Bitul Mekah more than a sixth, you could change your mind forevermore. The Meicher or the vendor could change the vendor or the buyer could change your mind more, or just until you show your relative. Now you can ask me a question. So what's the chiluk? I know, and if it's only to see relatives, what's the chiluk between I know or Yaisim? I know it's the same thing. The time cap is the same. The limit, but they should tackle the trade. Oh, you have a time cap. Time limit. So what's the difference? I'll tell you. The big difference. The way the Mishnah learns later. Dealer shtus mishanis ana, which is the buyer chayzet. He can change his mind, but not the other person. The ilu yeser al shtus, but if it's more than a six, shnei chayzet. Either the vendor or the buyer can say, no, I'm dissolving the whole set. Toshma, go back to the story. They did change their mind. We're back to Chamim. If you tell me that according to Rabbanan, the Rabbanan hold that you have a time limit only 20. Yeah, you have the whole day. So when back to Rabbanan, at least even more than a shtus, which according to the Tarfon is still considered a shtus, there's a time limit by the Chachamim. Only an hour or two. And the Tarfon says 24 hours, so we like Chacham better. If you say that ain't more than a sixth, it's lo'ilam. So Tarfon, what you Chachamim hold more than a sixth is Bittul Mekah. Tarfon hold that's considered shtus, and you Chachamim say it's lo'ilam, and that Tarfon at least says 24 hours, no more. So of course they stick with Rab Tarfon. Why they run back to Chachamim? Is much better. It's only 24 hours, and when it answers. More than a sixth, very few people were that greedy because the buyers are not that stupid. They wouldn't pay so much money. So the advantage of that didn't make a difference. It could be it's only a time limit, also more than the Tarfon tak is worse. It gives you 24 hours, but Bittul Mekah didn't bother them. Omar Rabbi said Hilchasa. So the halacha is this is fine halacha, not like the Mishnah because of a brayse. Pachas mishtus less than a sixth. Nikna Mekach. The deal is a deal, and it's meichel. It's immediate. Yoisar more than a shtus bittul Mekach. The whole deal is dissolved, and either party can dissolve it. Shtus, kind of the deal goes ahead. Umachzer no, he gets all his money back, but the deal goes ahead. You don't have a choice like the Mishnah says. You can dissolve it. And all that is talking about that shtus and yoisim shtus. Talking about there's a time cap of your relative, and that's it. Tanya comes over, look at the price like Rabbi. I know pach is mishtus. I know it's less than shtus. Nikne mekach yes shtus. I know pach is mishtus. Nikne the deal. Mekach is nikne mekach is the deal. Yes, there's more than six. Bottom mekach shtus exactly six. Kona umachzer no divid amnosen. So Rabbi's paskin like amnosen. Could amnosen dainu, and he knows how to paskin. But Rabbi Yehuda Nasi Yemer yad meicher alel yena. That the hand of the meicher is in the driving seat. Roitza amol tenli mekri. Oy tenli masho nisi. So you have a choice. Give me back my sale, or give me back whatever you yeah. No, no, talking about a case where, let's say, the Meicher was the one who lost out. So the Meicher has a choice: either give me back the deal or give me back what you cheated me. No, but according to Rebbe, the shtus, whoever got hurt, vendor or the buyer, doesn't matter. Whoever got hurt is in the driving seat, and they can choose what they want. Rebbe says, no, you can't choose. Okay, we'll stop over here, and we'll continue Mr. Shem